So I think sometimes I am a little bit more serious in the kitchen than I am in my life, because I'm kind of a goofball sometimes outside of the kitchen. When I needed a job, when I was around college age, like I was 19, then I just started cooking, and then it sort of just sucked me in. What really kept me doing it is once I got better at it and I saw what people that were more talented than myself were capable of, I was just like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. The entire process of making the dish is so that the plating is the way I wanted it to be. You know, like you make a dish and you want to do a certain flavors, but then you start being like, well, how are we gonna cut this? How are we gonna plate this? And thinking about it visually that way, I think, does make it an art form. Just like my chef knife that I use for pretty much like most things, like vegetable work and all that stuff. I also use it like if it's like a bigger size fish, I'll usually use that knife. I've had this for years. It was pretty expensive, like a $400 knife. It's easier to do things when you have like your own stuff that you use every day, and like you get like preferences and all that. Like it's like, for example, like for like boning knives, there's like two styles. This one's called a Honosuke, which is like a Japanese boning knife that's for like chicken, beef, and pork and stuff like that. But then this is like a boning and fillet knife that's more like Western style. It's all like preference, what you use, and it's like what you get used to. But like I'm gonna do a much better job with this than this. If you think about it clinically, only it's impossible to create food that's good, because it's food without soul. Like when a lot of people that are classically trained, I feel like end up doing that. Whereas this, like, you can see their food lacks a voice, like their food lacks any sort of identity, because it's all just like, it's very clinical the way they think about it, and you just can't think about it that way, because people don't eat that way. Like no one's gonna sit down and be like, oh, this cut is amazing, like this is immaculately seared. Like no, like people care about that, but at the same time they want to hear like where the chef is coming from and how, like, sort of the journey that you went through to get to that plate in your life, you know. Okay. And I think that's like most chefs that are really good, that really make an impact on the culinary world, are all the kind of ones that talk about it in a way where it's like, man, you feel this at like the core of your being. It's not just to make good food. I try to make things very beautiful, like very colorful is something that I like. I like to, like, my plates to look very, I mean, in the food world, a lot of the times it's like feminine, sort of. I like my cooking style to be a little bit delicate, which I feel like sets me apart from a lot of chefs that do the style of food that I like to do. And I think that like in my cooking, that like Indian and Middle Eastern food comes up so much, because like it's just, especially because those flavors fit so well with so many other things. You can just throw curry in anything, or like vadavan, or any sort of like Indian influenced flavor. Just really elevates a lot of different dishes that otherwise would have been simple and unassuming. So it is like anyone can sit around and watch like food shows and stuff and be like, oh yeah, I want to be a chef, or like you can love cooking at home and be like, man, I want to open a restaurant, but it's an entirely different animal than just like being able to make something taste good. It's like physically and mentally taxing, where like most jobs are just one or the other. It's long hours, and it like a lot of times hurts your feelings. So it's just like, it's kind of like, if you want to do it and you think it's something that you want to do, my biggest advice would be just to like really think about it and make sure first. The extra time and effort sometimes can be more than you think you have in you, but it's like, then why bother then?